All right, we continue the MSO salute to the class of 2020 with Julia Ryan, Danvers High School athlete that we're going to be talking with in a second. The athletic director, director of athletics at Danvers High School, Andy St. Pierre, is kind enough to join us as well. And of course, our sports director, Bill Newell, is here. We're going to start by welcoming Andy St. Pierre once again. Andy, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. We're getting by. We're kind of figuring out this whole situation together, and making the best of it. That's all you can do right now.
Before we talk to and about Julia, could you give me a little update on how things are, I don't know, progressing or stalled, whatever the case may be, with spring sports? Because it was only, within the last week or so that the season was finally officially canceled?
Yeah, I mean, we held out hope for a long time, and as a league, we had schedules ready to go. As soon as we got the word from the governor, we were ready to play, and then the first delay came, and then we kind of readjusted things, and we're ready for a shortened schedule. And then the last cancellation essentially came, and everything's kind of scrapped at this point. So, we held out a lot of hope for a while that we could get something in for these kids, even if you could get a couple games, give them that send off that they deserve, that every high school senior deserves. But we weren't able to do it, unfortunately. And in all honesty, this is scratching the surface of the issues here, and it's everyone's health and safety is of utmost importance. So sports is obviously secondary, but at the same time, for a high school kid, young person, 17, 18 years old, it's a hard thing to digest. We all sort of had our time coming and going through high school and got the proper closure, and this generation of student athletes isn't going to have that. And that's what hurts the most, I think, is they're forced to process and deal with something that they really shouldn't have to deal with at this stage in their lives.
And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And I want you to start by telling us a little bit about Julia, who has been robbed of her senior season at softball.
Yeah, she's a great kid, great student athlete for us. She really models what we envision to be a student athlete for the school. Great community member, always smiling, always uplifting people in school, which is awesome. Does a really nice job in the classroom and on the field as well. And last spring, like you mentioned, that Gloucester game, that was a tough way to lose, and go out of the tournament. You had a lot of really high hopes for that team last year, playing really well in the tournament. A couple calls here and there, bad bounces, and we lose the game. But this was the year to redeem themselves and sort of get back at it and get that one last push and try to get over the hump. So I'm sure she can talk more about that. I'm sure it's probably not easy to talk about, but those are the things that are hard for me to. How do you sympathize with a student athlete in that scenario, in that situation, where they had everything going for them? But, Julia, like most of our student athletes, are really resilient and will find the silver lining in the situation and will come out on top. And they might not realize, the effect this is all having on them now, but as they go through their lives into college and beyond, I think they'll be able to draw on the experiences and take out the positive and figure out a way to sort of make it a palatable experience for themselves and use something in it and to learn and sort of overcome things in the future.
So let's get to Julia. Julia, welcome. Congratulations on the terrific career you've had up to this point. Condolences on how sucky this thing is. But I do want to go back to last season, because you guys had a spectacular year. And despite the Gloucester loss, you played them tough. And Gloucester themselves had a historic season. So what are your memories of last season, and maybe hit a highlight or two?
Well, last season was definitely by far my favorite so far. I made like two of my closest friends on the team. I was given the captainship. That was one of the highlights. So for this year, I would have been the captain of the team. That Gloucester game that we actually won, the one before the tournament, was definitely a highlight. I know it was one of the most intense games. We all came out, gave it our all. We were able to push forward because I don't think we had the odds against us in that game. We were able to push through and win it. Another highlight was definitely playing, I think, 11 innings against Beverly. And it was a tied game the entire game. And in the last inning, we finally scored. And it was like, it was against Beverly, one of our rivals. So it was a pretty awesome feeling. Just, yeah, an overall great season, honestly.
Excellent.
Julia, what are your plans for college and athletics in college?
I actually just decided a couple days ago that I would be playing, or not playing, I'd be going to UNH. I haven't, I don't think I'm going to play sports. I'll probably do it like intramural or club, but probably for softball.
And as far as a course of study, what are your plans there?
I am going in undecided for right now.
Well, I went in undecided many years ago, and
Yeah,
look what
yeah.
happened. So you may want
Came out
to think this over the summer.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but Julia, what's it been like now this spring, and what have you heard from coach and from your teammates?
It's been pretty emotional, I won't lie. We started, my team and I, like a couple girls, we had started going to the field a couple times, just playing catch. We were definitely really excited for this season. We were working a lot. I've been working out on my own, just trying to get better, trying to improve just before the season so we could go into the season with a strong team. And then that first Monday when we found out, we were all really confused as to what would happen, what was going to happen. And then, so my coach has been texting me. We've been talking a lot, trying to figure out what we could do, what we would be able to do for the team, for the girls. We made a couple group chats. I'd been texting and all of them for all the freshmen that weren't really sure what was going on. For the returning varsity players, we were all really upset about it. My coach and I had been texting a lot, trying to figure out what we could do. And then the deadline got, or the date got pushed back further and further, and we were talking about like a shorter season, trying just to get in a couple games, but obviously that's not going to work at this point. So definitely emotional.
Andy, what picking up on that, what has been the relationship among the coaches, the spring coaches from the athletics department? What have you guys, what have you had to tell them and deal with, and maybe a little bit of how that's gone, how they're dealing, I think, especially with the seniors, but also with the other kids as well.
Yeah, I mean, every coach is sort of handling it their own way, much like the student athletes are handling it. You know, from my point of view, I try to keep them in the loop and be as transparent as possible. When the MIAA sends something out or we got something from central office, I sent it out to them. I've called to check in on all my coaches just to see how they're doing. A lot of them have put together workouts and things that keep them busy, stay connected without being together, so to speak. So, you know, and every coach kind of does it differently. Like the softball coach Newbury, she actually texts me every game day that they had on the schedule, and she gives me a whole recap of the game: who scored, who hit, who made great plays in the field. Julie, I don't know if she's sending those to you guys too.
Yeah, she does.
But it's awesome. It's like, talk about keep
so
the
cool.
spirit alive, and like give you something for 2 minutes every game day to take your mind off what's really going on, and sort of give you that, well, what if scenario. Like this is what we should have been doing today. Right now they're undefeated, I'm happy to report. Big win against Austin Prep the other day.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what?
Game.
It's like, what else can you do? You gotta somehow find the positive side of it. And she does that, and she's awesome at that. So, you know, that's just kind of a little snapshot of a little bit of everything. You know, coaches some are doing the Google Hangouts, most of them are texting with the teams and sort of trying to stay in touch with them best you can. But at this point, you can't really do much because you're not working for anything imminent.
Rick, before you follow up on that question, I was not going to share this story on this Zoom, but Coach Newbury, Colleen, was our family's first babysitter. She lived next door to us many years ago when we were both a lot younger, but she was our first babysitter with our kids. So I'm not surprised she would do something like that. She's a very positive person. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, and her assistant, Don, he came to every girls basketball game in the winter, every girls sports game we had in the fall, he was at, and he brings his chair, brings his bucket, sits on it. He gave me the countdown every time he came in. You know, he was looking forward to this season as much as anyone, you know, and then that's hard. That's a hard thing to digest. Like, you know, he lives for that. He lives to be around the girls and teach the game. And, you know, for a guy like him, he's been doing it for however many years, and it was just taken away from him. And that's something that he really looks forward to. So, you know, as much as we obviously feel for the players and coaches, but he's a longtime assistant coach, volunteer who's just helping out. But it's sort of become what he's all about and it's part of his fabric.
Yeah, I think everybody feels that, and I'm glad you pointed it out. Julia, in terms of how you as a captain relate to the younger kids, you're not even getting to see them this year. And are they in contact with you? And then, I'm just wondering if we could maybe look back on your soccer season, because you did get that in. But is there a relationship that you as captain with your other teammates apart from the seniors?
Well, I can definitely say my two closest friends on the team are a sophomore and a junior. So we definitely have that dynamic on the team. It's not like, oh, the freshmen like don't hang out with the seniors. It's more of just everyone is like a family kind of to say. The freshmen that I haven't really met, I was able to we had a meeting and I was able to meet with them, and I consider myself a relatable person, and I try to be as much as I can, especially for the freshmen because I was in their position 4 years ago. So I mean, like, I understand being nervous around like a captain, the other seniors, like it's kind of scary to sometimes. So I do try to be relatable, and I text them. I'll forward messages from our coach, and I can get to them that way. They don't respond much, but I still get that message out there.
Right. I think that's what's one of the things that Coach St. Pierre and all the other coaches and directors of athletics try to do is pick people as captains who can do that. When you as a senior, I mean, you remember as a freshman what it was like. Seniors seem so long down the road there.
Yes.
And if anybody, gave you a little bit of a help, you said, "Oh, this is pretty cool. I want to do this." So for you to take that lesson and work with the younger kids is most excellent. And I think finally, I want to ask you about soccer and let Bill get back in here. But I just want to ask you about the other seniors, your plans, what you guys are talking about, because this is totally uncharted territory, and school committees, superintendents of schools, directors of athletics, principals, they're all listening to you guys, I think. So what's going on in Danvers?
As in just softball or seniors in general?
Seniors in general. Seniors, the fact that, graduation is off the table at the moment, senior prom, your banquets, whatever else you may be having. What's the talk among seniors, and maybe what are you guys thinking of?
So, well, we found out our prom was definitely canceled. That was kind of a shot to the heart, I know, for a lot of people. A couple of my friends were trying to set up an alternate prom. It wasn't really through the school. So we're going to try to do that because we feel like that's one of the one things that is really important for your senior year. I know a lot of the other seniors are also definitely upset about it, not only losing their senior season or like their captainship season, just like the last couple months of senior year, we've gone to school for however long, and like that's exactly what we're looking forward to, and then we don't get it, and it's like we knew the end was coming soon, and we had that time to process it, but now that it's actually here, it's hard to just stop there and not be able to. It's like it seems like it's too good to be true that we would actually have it, but. Yeah.
Let me just follow up on that one thing you just said, and maybe Andy and Julia, you could both respond to it. And I hadn't thought about it this way. You talk about players losing their season, but you're right in mentioning that as a teammate, you start as a freshman, you go through, and you really look forward to possibly being a captain, and now you are a captain, and you don't have a season, if you will, in softball. So that's I hadn't really thought about it in that way of thinking of the whole team and so on. But you're right. I mean, that's an important role on a team, and that's kind of taken away from you, and maybe Andy can respond too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the captain thing is, yes, she was not able to outwardly be the captain leading her team into battle this year, but the thing she did leading up to this point to be named captain is what matters. That's what really, I think, solidified, in her character and things like that the trust that her teammates and coaches had in her to name her captain. I think that's where the value is primarily in a captain, and playing out the season obviously is sort of the fun part of that. But I think you have to really be appreciative of the fact that you made it to that point and achieved that goal.
Yeah, definitely. Like all season last year, I definitely worked hard in hope that would be the outcome.
Well, Julia,
So in softball, Julia, at the beginning of the game, you can't walk out to the mound and do the coin toss this year. Right?
Right. Definitely not.
yeah, but they can't take that away from you. You're the captain. Julia, final question. A memory at Danvers High School, either academically, socially, or athletically.
This Zoom call included, Julia.
Okay, well, my number one, this Zoom call, definitely. That's a hard question, though. There's so many.
You know, let me help you out. Forget the Zoom call, okay? Because you know, that'd be the easy way out for you. But okay, so
That's a hard question, though.
It definitely is, especially like all 4 years. That's a hard question just to
Okay,
narrow down one thing.
Let me make it easier for you. What's the first thing that popped into your head?
Well, I was able to get the chance to go to Italy and Greece last year with my 2 closest friends. So, and my 2 favorite teachers. So that is definitely, I think, the best thing.
Perfect. And you will be going to school in the fall, as you mentioned. What about plans for that? Is there any idea when you'll be doing, the on-campus visit and so on?
Well, I was planning on going back to the campus in, I think, early April, but that didn't happen. We've definitely heard rumors that the schools won't open up until second semester. I hope that we can get an orientation in at the campus and then hopefully open, because I mean that's also something that it's like completely different than just high school. It's like your first semester in college, everyone looks forward to that, and we might not get that. So I hope it works out.
Bill, final thought?
no, it's a great school, and good luck at New Hampshire. Terrific school. So that's huge in itself. Yes.
Andy?
I'm good. Thanks for having us. You guys
Well,
stay
thank you,
safe,
guys.
stay well.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And congratulations once again to the Danvers High School class of 2020, to their softball team and all our athletics. But Julia, especially congratulations to you. Best of luck, and be safe.
Thank you very much. You guys too.